The Mariners trading Isaiah Campbell to the Red Sox for Luis Urias had me wondering whether or not they should add to their bullpen in free agency or through trades, but in today's video, I'm just mainly going to be looking at free agency because trading for relievers throughout the entire MLB, it's kind of a crapshoot, but also so is signing free agent relievers. There are so many every single offseason. Like, just take a look. I'm not going to slow down that much, but just look at how many different names there are available for free agent relievers. There are some that could make sense, some that maybe probably don't make a ton of sense, like Josh Hader, for example, and the left-handed relievers here. Dude's probably going to get like 18 to 19 million a year, maybe, but I handpicked out a couple guys that I think make a decent amount of sense, and the first one I have is a lefty, just in case maybe we trade Gabe Spire, or we just want to maybe add another lefty to the pen, is Matt Moore for the Miami Marlins. Obviously, he was with the Rangers in 2022, was very, very good. He's a former starting pitcher from the Tampa Bay Rays, went to the Giants, and now he's turned into a reliever. And he's been damn good since that transition to that role. After his full transition to a reliever with the Rangers in 2022, that season he put up a 2.05 ERA plus. In all of 2023, last year when he was with the Angels, the Guardians, the Marlins, a bunch of different teams, he put up a 1.76 ERA plus. Matt Moore is a guy that can go out and give you legitimate innings in your pen from the left-handed side. Should the Mariners, say, trade Gabe Spire, like I traded him in a package for Yandy Diaz in our Hit It Here podcast episode that went out on Monday. Keep that in mind. If we traded from the pen like that, we might need to go out and add a guy like Matt Moore. Looking at his Savant page here last year, very good stuff to look at here. Good values across most of his pitching here. The breaking run value, not a whole great stuff to look at there, but it's decent. His off speed is insane. Something I don't love is the ground ball percentage here, but if he's pitching in the Marine layer at T-Mobile Park, it might not matter a whole lot. Now, looking at the whiff percentage on a couple of his pitches here, four-seam, change, and curveball in 2023, 36% whiff percentage on the curveball, 32.4 on the changeup. Those are pretty solid whiff percentages. They're not like the elite level, but overall, Matt Moore, he could be a budget find for you because he's not going to fetch a very huge contract like Josh Hader. And we also saw the Braves add to their pen in free agency. They signed Reynaldo Lopez, which also kind of got the gears spinning for me of what can the Mariners maybe go out and add in their bullpen if they want to truly create like the death bullpen, you know, really just show that they don't care about scoring runs that much, but they will not allow you to score a ton of runs. Matt Moore, is he the biggest answer to that, to give you the death bullpen? Not necessarily, but I think he would be a good guy to add out there should you feel the need to acquire a left-handed pitcher in that way. A guy that has tremendous upside and I think would fit well with the Mariners. And if you guys agree with me, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's greatly appreciated. It's Yuki Matsui from the NPB, the Rakuten Eagles. He has been a lights-out closer over in the NPB for quite some time. Another guy that we talked about on our episode of the Hit It Here podcast. I'm not going to be able to show as many stats as I did with Matt Moore because getting international stats is a little bit hard here. But just imagine a 1.57 ERA across 57 and a thirds innings pitched. And that's kind of where he's been at a couple of times throughout his career. 2019, he put up a 1.94 ERA with 69 and 2/3 innings pitched. In 2021, had a 0.63 ERA across 43 innings pitched. These are like those Zach Britton's. Speaking of insane reliever years, Zach Britton, his 0.54 ERA, whatever, that got him a Cy Young for, 0.63 in 2021 at the age of 25 for Yuki Matsui here. Dude is a dog at the back end of the pen. He's lefty. Doesn't strike out a ton of guys. 72 strikeouts across 57 and a third. So his career strikeouts per nine is 12.0, while his walks per nine are 4.0. They have consistently been decreasing, though. Those walks have come down quite a bit as he has, I think, developed into a better pitcher. Yuki Matsui, if we're in the competitive market for him, I would love to see him become a Seattle Mariner. I think he could make a ton of sense, and that could be a guy that you could add to the death bullpen, and it could be a huge impact. But if we didn't really want to go a lefty route, say we wanted to add a hard-throwing righty that just absolutely throws gas, no one in this class for me is better than Jordan Hicks at that. In this class, I think in terms of high leverage and will be a little bit more affordable than the Josh Haders. I think realistically, you could probably get him for around the same price that the Braves got Reynaldo Lopez, which was 3 years, $30 million. That's what trade rumors projected for the contract for Reynaldo Lopez, they have Jordan Hicks at 4 years, 40. It's a pretty steep contract, if I'm being honest with you guys, for the Mariners to give out to a reliever. I don't know if they do it, but if they wanted to go out and get a dude that throws gas and has been very good in a couple seasons here. Last year, across the entire year, a 1.32 ERA plus, had 2 down years, right, after COVID. But before that, 108, 135. Pretty good there from Jordan Hicks, and we all know what his Savant page is going to look like because it's going to be a whole lot of red. Lots of good stuff here. The fastball velo is the big thing. He will be a great addition with Munoz and Brash at the end of that pen to go out there and just throw 102 by you and say goodnight. Again, this contract, I think it's a little bit further out there, 4 years, 40. Going back to Yuki Matsui for a second, he's not going to fetch that big of a contract. It'd probably be like 2 years, maybe 16 million, maybe 3 years, say like 21 million, something like that. So he might be a little bit more attainable than Jordan Hicks, but you gotta like what you're seeing from Jordan Hicks because dude is he's just filthy. A 59.5 whiff percentage on his sweeper in 2023, the year of the sweeper, essentially. Jordan Hicks, I mean, he wasn't throwing it his most, but in 221 pitches thrown, it's a pretty significant margin. But say the Mariners don't really want to go out and get a super high-end, cost a lot of money reliever in this market. Maybe they go to a different hard-throwing righty like Shintaro Fujinami. Previously with the Oakland Athletics, finished his season out with the Baltimore Orioles. Did not have a great year in his first year in the MLB in 2023. But if there's a pitching lab that can fix Fujinami's walk issues, his control, his command, I think he could be the Seattle Mariners. So looking at his stats here, an 86 ERA plus with Baltimore last year, only a 48 with Oakland. Not good whatsoever, right? His strikeouts to walks, not very good. 1.84 on the whole season. You'd like those walks to come down a significant figure there. Maybe the Mariners take a flyer on him, say that they can fix him, because it's hard to deny the velo. Everything else, pretty bad, right? Not great. But if you can justify the velo and say that, hey, we can help you pinpoint your command, maybe they take a flyer on Shintaro Fujinami. Or maybe they take a flyer on a previous Seattle Mariner. He was only there for like a little bit in 2020. Carl Edwards Jr. had some issues post-pandemic, okay? He's originally with the Cubs at the beginning of his career, and then he was a journeyman for a while post-pandemic. But ever since then, he's joined the Nationals, and he's put up back-to-back very solid years as a reliever. 1.43 ERA plus in 2022, 1.18 in 2023. Previously with the Cubs, look at these. Look at this to start his career. Very good, and then just kind of fell off the rails a little bit, which is very, I think, common for relievers. So if you wanted to, say, bring Carl Edwards Jr. in to push Topa into the leverage role, and you have him be a guy in the 6th inning, maybe, it could be very good for your pen, especially since you lost Isaiah Campbell. Maybe you don't want Prelander to come up right away. Carl Edwards Jr., it's not a sexy pick, but it could be a pick that could lengthen your bullpen very, very easily. And looking at his Savant page in 2023, he's not qualified for it all, but looking at it, if he had been, it's not terrible. And looking back to 2022 when he was qualified, again, this is very good. This is pretty solid, in my opinion. So for a contract for him, he's not in the top 50. He's going to get less money than Reynaldo Lopez for sure. You could get him maybe around the same price range for Yuki Matsui, probably even lower, probably like $5 million a year, if that, right? It's not this crazy reliever that you're going to go out and sign. But a guy that I don't know, for whatever reason, I have been dead set on this guy since I saw the free agent list come out at the beginning of the offseason. It's Brent Suter. And I've said his name a couple times on, I think, live streams on the podcast. Brent Suter, if a dude can pitch in Coors and pitch well, there's no doubt in my mind that he can pitch in any other ballpark and do just as well. Brent Suter was great for the Rockies in 2023. He put up a 150 ERA plus, has not put up an ERA plus below 100 except for one time, okay? One singular time. He's a lefty. He's got a funky delivery, kind of a crafty lefty. He's not going to blow the ball by you. He's got great off-speed value here. But in 2023, across 69 and a third innings pitched in 57 games, so he can kind of go long for you if you need him to. A couple, more than one inning outings there. A 3.38 ERA. It's not terrible. There's not a lot of value here, except for his off speed. And maybe that could work in the Mariners bullpen relatively well. They've got guys that throw hard like Brash and Munoz. They lost Penn Murphy to free agency, DFAing, whatever, and also because of injury. And he was a guy that spun the ball well and didn't really throw the ball by you a whole bunch. Maybe Brent Suter, it's a different kind of angle here, but maybe he could be a guy that could be like a Penn Murphy for the Mariners in 2024, should they see a need to go out and address their bullpen in free agency. The average exit velocity is the 100th percentile. It's the best you can be. He's limiting hard contact. And in T-Mobile, hard contact, if they're not making hard contact, the ball's not going anywhere because the marine layer is going to stop it anyways. So Brent Suter, it's not a sexy pick, but gosh darn it, I want this to be a Mariners uniform for some reason, really, really desperately. Let me know what you guys think about whether or not we should make some adjustments or additions to the bullpen in free agency, especially with the Isaiah Campbell trade that happened. And if you guys didn't know, we traded Isaiah Campbell for Luis Urias. Check out this video on the screen that Colton made, breaking down that Urias trade from the other day. Thank you guys for watching this one, and go Mariners.